Welcome back to another Age of Mythology Retold pro player point of view. Today we're watching I Am Magic. He came third in the most recent S tier $10,000 tournament, and he looked pretty good in that tournament, even after saying he didn't practice very much and he didn't even know whether he could attend that tournament. So coming third is pretty impressive, especially with not as much practice as he would have liked. And he's playing against Chemo's Ra, and Ra against Norse is historically Ra favored, at least in Retold, the Retold version of the game, due to myth units that are pretty hard to kill, like Sphinx and Wadgets, especially in the classical age for the Odin, and also against Axemen. So there has been a few changes very recently. There's been an absolutely huge patch. So actually, Odin now, he has access to Godi in the second age. So if there are any Wadgets coming out from Chemo, then the Godi, if Magic decides to go through Freya and get the Rumnir upgrade, then he will be able to get that upgrade and get Godis in, and also Godis having extra HP, but it's more that you get them in the classical age or a ranged hero. But on the side of Chemo's Ra, he will also have stronger Axemen and stronger Spearmen, which are two units that are very good against the Norse army. Spearmen are good against the raiding cavalry, and then Axemen are pretty much good against everything else. They're good against the Hersers, they're good against the Ulfsarks, but Ulfsarks have also had a slight buff for Odin. So Odin's own unique bonus has changed, or own unique tech, sorry. So that now gives bonus speed, so 10% extra speed, and 25% bonus damage versus myth units. So it's not loads versus myth units, but if you get a lot of berserks out, then you will be absolutely fine. And I call them Ulfsarks, I'm sorry, I'm just too used to the old game. We're just having a look at what this berserk can see. It looks like we're just going around getting some goats. I think the map was Giza. Yeah, the map is Giza. And we do see that magic is going through Freya. We also saw him share the ox cart earlier. Didn't really mention anything about the early build, but he's got the 4 dwarves, pretty standard. He's got 8 on the food, and then he's got 4 on wood all the way down here. Now, this is pretty raidable from any Sphinx that will come through, but there is a tower here, so it should be absolutely fine. Might just be worth putting a building up there. Magic is normally puts his buildings in very defensive spots, so we'll see what he does there. Also deciding to get a decent amount of hearses out if those Sphinx do come in, which we do see that they are eventually going to. Also have a look at some of these relics. We have villagers gather wood and gold faster. It's a pretty standard relic if you want to go for that. Pair of golden lions, very good early as well. Also finding those obelisks, very, very nice. And we have increased wall hit points, probably not something that Odin cares about, but wants to take it away from the Ra. Then ranged soldiers have more hit points is good if he wants to get some throwing axemen in. That's the main one. Or the Godis if he wants to go for that Godi upgrade. So he hasn't decided to get any buildings so far, unless there's any on the back. Deciding where to put them. Not going for any buildings yet. But scouting around everywhere. It isn't something you need to do. You don't need to fully commit. You can save up, go for a town center later, but he went for an earlier advance time. The Ra went for quite a late advance time, so you would expect the Sphinx to be coming through there. If you're going for a second town center, you normally want to advance around 4 minutes, and the Ra there did 4 minutes 45, which is not a good timing because it's very easy to stop the town center there. So then we do see double longhouse coming through, so maybe Magic is going to try his hand at some of these berserks, but we will see what actually managed to come through. We do see a forest fire coming in with the Valkyrie. The forest fire more to just open up the position. I don't think it's going to get that much damage to the barracks. It's going to do something, but it's definitely not going to take it down. But it's to open up this gold mine for some potential raids. You can see that Chemo wasn't actually going for this wood line here, so it's more just for the opening up purposes. The Sphinx are running into it, but I mean, it shouldn't really be a problem here. They can be healed up by a priest. Nothing to really worry about there. Valkyrie having a run around. Just having a think. Does does forest fire give you any favor for the damage that it does? Because then it's worth doing it early, right? Because then you get an extra Valkyrie coming out sooner. Blue crystal shard coming in. We did see the edge of a Sphinx there. Golden lions grabbed from Magic, which is very nice early upgrade. Looks like nothing coming out. Throwing Axemen, unit of choice. Normally they're going to be pretty defensive. And I didn't even talk about this base, a back gold mine and back hunt. This is perfect if you want to defend in this situation, which normally the Odin player is on the defensive if the Ra decides to go for Sphinx, and that is what Chemo's done, and these walls are absolutely perfect. Normally you would expect this to be so good for the Ra. Ra is historically a very boomy kind of god, but to be honest, when you play Retold, especially against a Norse, you just want to be aggressive with your myth units, with your axemen, with everything. Cryosphinx do find the Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie might go down here. In a 1v1, the Valkyrie should win, but a 3v1, yeah, I think that Valkyrie is going to go down. Also, the Cryosphinx doesn't have Hyrocosphinx yet, but it is about to come in. And then the Hyrocosphinx isn't actually quite as fast as the Valkyrie. So if Magic can get a second Valkyrie out to actually heal this one back up, then he won't have lost anything and be absolutely fine. We do see that Chemo is getting a lot of barracks units in, actually. So we will eventually see some sort of big fight down this bottom side. Plenty of hearses in to deal with those Sphinx. Not deciding to get Sesrumnir, actually. So not deciding to go for those Godis, just wanting to go for the hearses instead. Do see the Valkyrie actually going down before the Valkyrie could come in to heal it. Very nice play from Chemo. And well held on by Magic there to actually force all those units back. Does manage to take one throwing axeman down, but that was in Chemo's favor there. Valkyrie for throwing axeman. You'd rather take a myth unit down any day. But there's plenty of resources in the base and behind this wall for Magic, so he won't be worried for a while. He's also actually going over here to take down some of these gazelles just for a bit of extra favor to get another Valkyrie out. Or maybe the Valkyrie upgrade, very, very strong. And that is exactly what he's going for Disablot. This makes your Valkyries have a lot more damage and they actually heal a little bit faster as well. Even with just a one Valkyrie, that upgrade is absolutely worth it. Especially if you're going for raids. When you go for raids, they are very strong. Also, still only got five dwarves here. Not decided to put any buildings up around this gold mine, which is interesting. Deciding to get the safe buildings instead of the defensive ones, causing walls, basically not wanting to lose them. One for 4 barracks also. Looks like the hunt was finished up down here, so there is actually nothing over there that the wall was protecting. So many spins coming off here, and the Hearse does unfortunately get caught out. Got a little bit confused about his life there. But there's a decent amount of throwing axemen. Just need to make sure that the Hyrocosphinx don't get on the throwing axemen, and think they are actually going to run away there. The slingers are the answer to throwing axemen also. This thing is, an eclipse is going to be very scary for this army. Decent amount of hearses though. Throwing axemen are easy the damage dealers though. And I think Chemo does notice that, wants to get those slingers in to take them out. Slingers do have, what is it? Decent amount of bonus damage. Can't click on the slinger. 3 times bonus damage against these throwing axemen with not much pierce armor either. Get some berserks. Do the berserks have the upgrade? I think that is the upgrade coming in here. So it is 10% movement speed and 25% bonus first myth units. We'll see if that actually seems to matter going forward. And the Shield Maiden Valkyrie has spotted the wall going up, and an unfinished wall goes down so quickly. I think that he wins the 1v1 though. I'm pretty sure. Was it 360 HP, 375 HP, 60% hack? I don't know what the Sphinx have. Yeah, well, I think it's actually pretty similar when they're fully upgraded. I know with no upgrades, the Valkyrie wins. But maybe it's the second upgrade from the Hyrocosphinx that actually managed to do it. An Eclipse at some point is going to be absolutely terrifying. Those villagers all half HP from just a couple of spins. And that's going to be the end of that gold mine. Magic does leave one dwarf out. He does recognize that. Looks like we're going to go for a huge fight. Eclipse does come in. Magic runs away. Needs to run those villagers away. Also, massive choke point for those throwing axemen, though. The slingers caught sleeping. If the slingers were there, they could have taken out throwing axemen very, very quickly. But a really nice choke point there. Just masterclass in army positioning. This is what the top players bring. It isn't so much the tiny little micro movements, even though they are important. It's just where you position your army overall. And if you watch some of the best players, if you watch the Magics, the Misters, They all do that so well. Looks like Chemo is trying to get over to this gold mine, but that does mean that Magic can finish up his 286 gold. That's the only problem. He does kind of need to wait for this eclipse to be over, because, yes... Oh, didn't actually notice that the villagers were down there. Only sent one Sphinx over. Don't think Chemo knew that there was actually something there. Just having a little check. And the Sphinx will go down, but gets a decent amount of villagers also. Like, mostly slingers in here, so the berserks would go pretty well. Army difference, villager difference, very, very equal. Still a very equal game, even though Magic has been on the back foot for the majority. The Sphinx are all quite low HP. If the hearses can actually get onto them, they'll do serious damage. Those Axemen with their 46% hack armor, very, very scary. The slingers are targeting down these throwing axemen very nicely. They're 3 units, though. 3 Golden Lion units. Very good. Some of the Sphinx can't actually get in either. Shield Maiden and Valkyries are all attacking, whereas the Sphinx, 2 of them were just caught sleeping. They were caught sleeping right at the back there. Didn't actually get their damage off. And that's really what you want them there for. They're fast. They deal a lot of damage, but they're not as tanky as some other myth units. And these slingers should all go down here if he can manage to get surround with these Valkyries. With the Golden Lions, are they fast enough? They're only 5 speed. But it looks like he's not going for the surround, just kind of jabbing at them. He'll still get a lot of damage done. Now, I assume he'll also be sending something up to this gold mine to see if it's being used, but you can just assume that it is. And the units do run away. We've got 5 Valkyries. Also going for the forward gold because he knew that the back one was being attacked. Also on the back one with some gatherers anyway. Yeah. The issue is Magic is out of food in his base, or almost out, so he does have to move out unless he wants to build farms. If you're in the classical age, you don't really want to build farms because they just don't have the upgrades to actually be useful. Looks like Chemo didn't attack move, he just moved past the army, so that's some free shots for these Shield Maiden Valkyries with 21 damage per hit. And looks like Magic's going to get the better end of this trade also. That's the thing about the Egyptian army, is the classical age army, they're strong, but they are very slow. So this is the new Axemen, where they have 10 extra HP, which is crazy. Like, 10 doesn't sound like a lot, but if we were to just look at them, where is he? He's got 88 HP. Well, he's got an upgrade. I think he was like 85. So 75 to 85, which is such a huge percentage there. Getting some more longhouses out. Does he actually have any... He doesn't have any great halls, just going pure longhouses. Knows what he wants, and this is it. Just pure longhouse units and 8 Shield Maiden Valkyries. When he gets up to the next stage, also these are going to go up to, what, 400 HP? 450 HP. 23 damage a hit. 20 damage per second. These are going to be scary. The priests are in, but they're only classical age priests. We also do see a little bit of a walking woods. Oh, just back. I wondered where it was. We was just trying to look for the blue, but he used it behind. The army is also behind. Magic needs to notice that one. Looks like he's just going for a raid instead. Does notice that one, but the walking woods will be able to tank pretty nicely. Nice snipe from Chemo to go over after those Ulfsarks. Sphinx going to run away, try and get some raids off, but the Valkyries, if they have their upgrade, the Thundering Hooves, they'll be able to catch them pretty nicely. We can see what kind of damage they do. Yeah, still do five a shot. It isn't much. You need a lot of these berserks to actually make this kind of myth unit damage worth it. Just because, I mean, they take so much HP. Yeah, it's about a 5 a shot. But while this is happening, Magic is in the base. He has his walking woods, the crush damaged trees. The Shield Maiden Valkyries just aren't being touched. Sobek is actually trying to come in. I don't know if Magic will be able to deny it. Maybe if all the Shield Maiden Valkyries manage to get on top of the town center. Also the Mountain Giant with his massive special, about 400 HP there on that town center. But Magic isn't targeting the TC. He doesn't know that the Heroic Age is about to come in. Maybe he does. He probably does. These top level guys, they can read scores. They probably know, or they would know what they would do. But it looks like he's just going for the villagers instead. Big advantage here for the villagers. Also trying to get the heavy infantry in. Does see that Chemo is in the third age. Also, his priests now are much stronger. So they are a decent option against these Valkyries. If these Valkyries could just sit over here for 10 seconds just to heal up, they'll heal up very quickly, but looks like he doesn't want to do that. Yeah, we can see how quickly they actually managed to heal up. He would have targeted this one. Oh, the villagers, they chose the wrong time to leave, and they're all going to go down. This is what I mean about the Disablock tech. It's so good. And the Valkyrie, they are going to run away here. Looks like Magic is getting a town center down here. This gold mine still has 3,000 gold left in it, but it needs to think about the next one. The next one is here. And if his has 3,000 gold left in it, you'd assume that the enemy is going to have something pretty similar. That's just always a good bet. If you've got a certain amount of gold left, if you're on the second gold mine, your opponent probably is too. There is some nuance there where I think Norse probably gather gold faster than anybody else. Egypt's close. But Norse, because of their dwarfs, is kind of standard that they are going to be spending more, but good rule of thumb to have. Valkyries wanted to go off on raids. We also do see Ring Givers. That's Ring Giver Jarls that are going to be the choice. So teching into horses instead. Want to see how quickly these guys heal, if they're going to heal. There's no micro. They're all just going to heal up slowly. Looks like Chemo is pushing this town center, but the classical army for Egypt, they don't deal with buildings very well. We can see here, I mean, he didn't really target it for very long, but they just don't deal much damage because they're all counter units. There we go. Well, we've left them alone for 20 seconds. They're all full HP. Yeah, we'll be able to take out villagers though. These Petsutros, very scary damage dealers from range, but if you can sit on them with the Valkyries, they'll go down so quickly. Yeah, nice raid. And we'll see how slowly this goes down. Army coming in, the Jarls coming in with their multiplier against the Petsutros there. 12 damage a shot. Do see a Locust coming in. Locust was expecting it to go the other way. Maybe he was hoping that Magic would actually juke that and juke into it. Priests are there to defend the gold mine though. And we do see that Chemo now has his siege towers out, so can get a decent amount of damage off on this town center. But the Shield Maiden Valkyries are just, they're not taking that much damage from these priests. They do deal divine damage. It's only 3. So you need a lot of priests unless you go through Nepthys. And the Jarls, Ulf Jarls, making short work of those slingers. Will also be able to get on those siege towers. Valkyrie, one of them does go down. I think two Valkyries down, but that's it. Magic does end up taking this one. And this was, I mean, you don't often see a very defensive Odin. Maybe you do against Ra, but this wall just came in clutch early. Also, this fight here where he's just waiting for the perfect time to get his throwing axeman in. And that was just the end of that one. If we can just have a look at maybe it's just some of the resource value. Moose here in the blue manages to just get more army than Chemo. And that's when Chemo was also trying to get to the next stage. Just a perfect timing on the response there. And yeah, if you want to see more from Magic, I'll link his Twitch and stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.